When your stomach is rumbling and you can hardly think about anything else, how do you know when your hunger is being legit and whether it's lying to you? I'm Shannon Clark and I'm with legsbumpsandtums.com. Today we're going to dive into the topic of hunger a little bit deeper and go over some of the things that you need to know about whether or not you should actually give in to your hunger when it strikes. A lot of women think that hunger is a good guide to use. They think if they're hungry during the day, that must mean their body is sending them a signal that they need food. Unfortunately, this isn't always the case. While in many situations you can trust your hunger, there are certain situations where that hunger may actually be occurring due to something other than an actual physiological need for food. Your ability to determine where that hunger is coming from and whether or not it's time to eat is going to be a big influencer in the results that you see. So what influences the hunger development? Well, the first and most obvious one is that you actually need food. Your blood sugar level is low, your body's used up all the energy that you fed it, and it's saying, you know what, I need some more energy, I need some more sustenance. That's the time that you need to be eating. Now, there are other times where this isn't the case. For example, have you ever walked into the mall and maybe gone past some cinnamon bun store and been like, wow, I'm so hungry? That's this principle at work. Basically, you smell the food, you can practically taste it, it smells so good, and instantly you start to feel hungry. During these situations, chances are you actually don't need to be eating, which some of you may realize, but some people, they just, you know what, they're gonna eat anyway because they think, oh, I'm hungry, perfect, there's the cinnamon bun and I happen to be hungry. Let's go for it. Another example is TV. If you're sitting at home watching your favorite TV show and all of a sudden there's a commercial for, you know, a banana split or some apple pie or something, you might find that you start to get a little bit hungrier and next thing you know, you're in the kitchen looking through your fridge. This is going to lead to overeating and it's going to cause you to consume more calories than you need. So you really need to start paying attention to the environmental signals that are surrounding you and whether or not these are actually contributing to your sensation of the hunger. Another thing that you need to be aware of is the fact that certain diets also influence hunger. For example, if you're using a very low carb diet, these diets by nature tend to decrease your hunger. Fat is a very high satiety food, so if you're eating a lot of dietary fat and protein and taking away a lot of the carbs, chances are you're not actually going to be that hungry during the day. But does this mean you shouldn't eat because you're not hungry? Obviously not. So in that situation, you need to actually say, you know what, I'm going to plan out my meals and I'm going to make sure that I am eating at regular times in the day. If you don't, you could sabotage your results. You still do need to be eating when you're dieting, even if you're trying to decrease the calorie intake. And then the third thing that can influence hunger that a lot of women aren't aware of is just the clock watching that goes on. You know, if you're making an effort, I need to eat every 3 hours, it's going to speed up my metabolism, or you're on some diet plan that says, you know, you're having your meals at 3, 6, 9, whatever the case is that you're using, that itself can make you hungry. Just because you look at the clock and you're like, oh, you know what, it's time to eat. And instantly your body starts being like, it just recognizes this and it creates that hunger sensation. So if you find that you're eating very frequently and you're constantly watching the clock for when you should be eating next, you actually might be increasing your hunger level without knowing it. So I'd really stop if you're doing that and kind of do a good assessment of how your body actually feels without looking at the clock and think about, you know what, am I actually hungry or is it just because it's mealtime? So those are a few things that I want you to start paying a little more attention to with regards to your hunger. Definitely, you know, if you're starving and you can't think and you can't concentrate, you probably need to eat. But if it's hunger that comes on all of a sudden and you weren't that hungry before, you may want to think about, is there something else that's causing me to be hungry? Because chances are there is, and if you give in and eat, it could be the thing that derails your diet completely. So start paying more attention to that. I'm Shannon Clark and I'm with legsbumpsandtums.com. Make sure you check back regularly because I'll be telling you more great information on how to succeed with your diet goals.